If you've been on the fence about moving to Calgary, Alberta, then this is the video for you. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros and the cons so that you can make an informed decision if it makes sense for you to move to Calgary. Please take a moment to smash that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave your thoughts on the video when you are finished watching. What's up, guys? This is Riley Nichols with eXp Realty in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything you need to know before you decide to make a move here. Now I'm talking the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. I have been living in Calgary for most of my life, and I've been super blessed to work with hundreds of families purchasing and selling real estate, both moving into Calgary and out from Canada and the US, and I am super excited to share with you guys what I have learned from personal experience. Let's get into it. So the first pro that I want to cover today is Calgary's affordability in relation to other Canadian real estate markets. Now, as most of you know, the Ontario and the BC real estate markets have been crazy for quite some time. We have a lot of international money that has been investing in some of those markets. Supply has been at an all-time low for a number of years, and that has caused the prices to go up dramatically. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer or a new investor, this can be very daunting because not a whole lot of first-time home buyers are able to qualify for some of those million and million plus purchases in some of the markets in Ontario and BC. Now, that has caused a great shift, and I'm seeing that a lot with some of our clients who are actually relocating from BC and Ontario and looking at the Calgary real estate market. Single family detached homes in Calgary in some really good neighborhoods are averaging around $550K. Now, that basically means that you can almost get the same house in Calgary that you could in, say, Vancouver or Ontario, obviously with a few differences, but by all means, the house is pretty much the same. The neighborhood's going to be a little bit different. Maybe the scenery is a little bit different. Obviously, we're talking 3 different provinces, 3 different climates, 3 different everything. But the actual piece of real estate itself, that 2,200 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home for $550K is going to be almost the exact same thing in some of these Ontario or Vancouver markets, but it's actually 50% of the price. So that is crazy, and that is why we're seeing a lot of our clients starting to relocate from some of those eastern and western markets into Calgary. The second pro that I want to talk about when moving to Calgary, this one actually affects Alberta, the province as a whole, is our beautiful 5% sales tax. Now, we are blessed among our brothers in Nunavut and the Yukon as well, and a few other provinces, to only have a 5% sales tax. Now, what that means is all of your cost of living, the groceries that you buy, the restaurants that you eat at, the massages that you book, the automobiles you buy, all of those things are going to be subject to that 5% sales tax. Now, especially when we're talking building a new home, these sales taxes can be quite significant when we're comparing them to other provinces in Canada. So let's take a $500,000 new home purchase in Calgary, for example. So a $500K purchase, subject to that 5% GST, we're looking at a $525K purchase. Now let's take that same house in Vancouver, and let's say that house in Vancouver is also $500,000. It's not going to be, but let's just use this as an example. Now, BC is subject to a 12% tax. So let's take that same $500K house at 12%. We're looking at $560K. Now that's a $35,000 discrepancy just in terms of tax. Now, when we factor in other things like the actual cost of living, to live in, say, Quebec at 14.98%, Ontario at 13%, BC at 12%, these need to be factored in when you're deciding on where you're going to move, because that can really impact your bank statement over time. So 5% sales tax in Alberta, beautiful thing. Now, the third pro that I want to talk about is actually one of my personal favorites, and that is all the beautiful mountains and national parks that are so close to us, and they're literally right at our doorstep. If you live in Calgary right now, this is definitely something that I know a lot of people take for granted. We have people flying from Australia to live here for 6 months out of the year, and people from all over the world that come to see our national parks. Now, if you move to Calgary, you got a few things that are really close by. Something that we call Kananaskis. For short, if you're cool, you call it K Country. Now, K Country has beautiful places to hike, rivers, mountains, streams, walking paths. Like, you're literally in the nature, and you're completely away from the city, and it's so close and it's so beautiful and it's so serene. Banff is also something that's really, really close by. You're about an hour and 30 minutes from Calgary. The town or village of Banff is so beautiful. You've got tons of boutique restaurants and shops. The hot springs are nearby, and it's just such a beautiful place to visit if you really just need to take a load off and get out of the city for a little bit, go down there and stay a night, and it's just such an amazing feeling. Now, if you continue going out west a little bit further, there are all these beautiful places to ski or snowboard. I myself am a big snowboarder, so I love going out to the mountains in the wintertime. It is a little bit colder in Calgary, so when that snow hits, it's fun to just take a load off and head out to the mountains. You've got Sunshine Village that's really close, about 2 hours away. Lake Louise is also close. You can continue heading out a little bit further west, and there's tons of other mountains where you can ski and snowboard and do other recreational activities. The list goes on. There are so many beautiful mountains and national parks that are here to visit and here to explore that you can only find in Alberta. So the first con that I want to talk about that you should consider before moving to Calgary and Alberta as a whole is some of the economic uncertainty that's taking place right now, and also a little bit higher than normal rates of unemployment. Now, as of August 2021, the rate of unemployment in Alberta is around 7.9%. Now, that's pretty on par with the actual national average in Canada as a whole. In Ontario, we've got an unemployment rate of about 9%. BC is around 6.2%. So we're kind of somewhere in the middle in terms of unemployment rates. Now, obviously, March 2020, COVID impacted millions and millions and millions of people across not only Canada, but also the US. So we saw a huge spike in unemployment go from roughly that 7.5% number in March 2020 up to about 15% rate of unemployment in June of 2020. Now that's pretty significant, but I know that those numbers are a bit skewed due to the pandemic. As things have started to taper off a little bit, vaccines are getting rolled out, things are starting to seem to be somewhat normal again. That rate of unemployment has now dipped back down to, like I said, that 7.9% rate. In 2013, 2014, oil and gas businesses were booming. Things were going really, really well in Calgary and Alberta. We were pushing along nicely. And then we had a bit of a market crash after 2014 that had a pretty significant impact on real estate pricing in Calgary and Alberta in the downtrend. And we have been in an economic recovery since then. Things are looking bright, I hope, but this is something to consider before you move here. So the second con that I want to talk about that you need to know before moving to Calgary, Alberta, is the weather. Now, I don't know what research you've done so far. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Calgary. Let's give you a good example. When you go to Mexico in the summer, you know it's going to be sunny. It's probably going to be hot. It's going to be nice. The sun's going to be coming down. You're going to feel good. You go to the North Pole, you know it's going to be freezing cold. Now, what you need to know about Calgary is the seasons and the weather can change like that. If you are mad about the weather, let's say it's raining, all you have to do is wait 5 seconds, boom, and then it's hail. Wait another 5 seconds, boom, you got lightning. The weather changes sporadically all the time. Sometimes it's very hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's hailing. It all depends. It's a little tough with some people who get migraines all the time, because if that weather is changing constantly, I know some people can get migraines, which can be disturbing. Calgary is very dry, so if you went to, say, Ontario or Vancouver, you're gonna have a really high humidity. So it's a different kind of heat in the summer. Not saying that it's worse or better, but something you need to be aware of, that it is a very dry climate in Calgary. The other thing that you also need to be aware of is the winter time. It is, I'm not even gonna lie, it's absolutely freezing. Like, sometimes it can get up to -40 and it is freezing cold. You need to have some good boots, you need to have a good jacket. If you've lived here for a long time like myself, you get used to it. The car scraper is in the garage, ready to go to war when that snow hits the ground. Like I said in the previous point, obviously when that snow comes, you wanna hit the mountains and actually take advantage of it and enjoy it. But that is something that you need to be aware of. You've got a very dry climate in the summertime that can be sporadic with sun, hail, rain, a little bit of everything. The winter time can be very, very cold, so you need to be prepared for that. And we don't really have much of a fall. So it kind of goes summer and then we have like a little bit of fall, and then it's like first winter, a little bit of fall, second winter, and then third winter, and then fourth winter. And then we kind of get into around May, and everybody gets excited because we think it's nice again. And then May long weekend rolls around, and then it's snowing again. So be prepared for some sporadic weather. Be prepared to have your wardrobe for all seasons. It can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but something you need to be aware of. So the third con that I want to talk about in Calgary specifically, I'm not 100% sure if this is synonymous across other cities in Alberta, but this is what I know from living in Calgary specifically, is construction takes forever. There's a ring road, it's called Stony Trail, and it connects a lot of the city. I feel like this thing has been being built since I was a baby, like a long time. And it just seems that construction just drags on and drags on and drags on, or we think that they're going to be finished Glenmore Trail, which is another major, thoroughfare that connects a lot of areas, and all of a sudden they're doing more construction, and then they're widening the roads, and then they're doing this, and then they're doing that. So there is always some sort of construction going on, and it's going to feel like it's taking forever. Obviously, with the weird climate and how things are, especially in the winter time, we can't get as much done, specifically with road construction, over the course of like a 12-month period. Now, the roads are, for the most part, they're in amazing shape. The city is very clean. The transportation is pretty clean and easy in comparison to some of the other major cities and provinces across Canada. But the construction seems to take forever. I don't know if it's just because I live here and I see it all the time, but I know a lot of my fellow Calgarians can agree. Construction takes forever. So just be aware of that. If someone said, if the city says they're going to be fixing a road or getting something done, expect it to take 10 years. I'm just kidding, but expect it to take a while, and that is something that you need to know before moving here. For some added value, I have dropped several links in the description below. One of those links will give you guys access to all of the Calgary and surrounding area homes. This is updated 24/7, and I also have full-time staff dedicated to answering any questions or any inquiries you guys have about anything. I will also add a complimentary buyer's guide in the bottom, so that can be accessed as well if you guys just want to understand what the process of purchasing a home in Calgary or surrounding area would look like. And I've also added a link to get an updated market report, so you guys can stay tuned with everything that's going on in the Calgary real estate market. Thank you so much for watching. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are below. And please give this video a like to bless that YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.